Joan Rivers used to say, talk among yourselves until I get ready. Bless her heart. This particular lesson for this Sunday is a lesson that some of us have a hard time learning. We believe in fairness, right? Each and every one of us from the United States usually believes in fairness. We believe that you should get certain wages for doing certain jobs. Since all of us, or the majority of us, have been raised here, we learned to work 8 hours a day for 5 days a week. And if someone is there with us, we think they should be paid the exact same thing we are. If they do the same job we do. Each and every one of us do that, right? That's why we had unions. That's why we had a lot of stuff happen in this particular country. And here we're giving a portrait of God. I don't know if you all realize that, but that's what it is. It's a portrait of God's love. Now, God did something that most people don't do. If we are looking for work, what do? I don't know about you, but I put on a business suit and, believe it or not, the pumps and the nylons and the whole shop.
I don't believe it. I'm impressed.
Ask Suzette. I wore that to work for years and years and years. Make sure the hair was done just right. You had just enough makeup, not too much. And you look very professional. And I'd go with resume in hand to the different places. Interview. Being that I was in computers, if you interview, you never interview once. You have to interview with at least 5 different people that ask you different questions. But I went to seek the jobs. Here we're given a picture of a man, a woman, of God, going and finding people to work. He goes to the marketplace. He sees a group of people. He says, go to work in my vineyard, and I'll pay you a fair day's wage for your labor. They go. But he's not satisfied with just those workers. He goes back again at about noon. He finds another group of people that need work, and he sends them, and they go. Then he goes again at 5 o'clock, sees another group of people. He says, go to work in my vineyard, and he sends them. Now, I don't know about you, but if I heard a tale like that today, what would you expect? The ones that went early in the morning, they'd get 8 hours paid, right? The ones at noon would get 4 hours paid. One at 5 would probably get a couple hours paid at the very most. And everybody would have been satisfied, right? But this story is completely different because God is different than we are. God spreads His love to all people. No matter whether it's someone who has served the church, served God since they were a child, or someone who gets to be my age that decides to find God. God's love is so great that they're all rewarded the same. Now we think about that. Have you ever thought about how generous God is? Are we so much like those people in the story that said, well, you know, I've been doing this since I was 9 years old, and I think I deserve a little bigger mansion. You see, I want mine gold and silver lined. And the people who came at noon, well, maybe they can have a silver one. And the ones that came late in life, a wooden one's good enough for them. That's how human beings think. But God says, I love you all so much that I will go and seek you. And I'll go back again and seek you. And I'll go again to seek you. and all of you will receive the same reward. I see that as God's generosity, something we need to learn to do, to be as generous as God. Whether you're my friend for a day or you've been my friend for a lifetime, I will love you the same. That's what God was trying to teach in this particular parable. It's so important for us to be generous, not only with our love and our talents and our times and our gifts to those around us, but especially with our love. Who needs it the most? Are we going out to seek those people? Or are we just going to take the ones that show up here on Sunday mornings at 9:45 so they can talk and have a cigarette before they come in? Are we going to welcome those that come in on a Thursday just because they saw the doors open and they need somebody to love them? How welcoming are we? And are we willing to go out and find those folks and invite them in? Invite them into this circle of God's love and God's grace. Remember, God went 3 times to find these people. And he used times that we would understand. There are some of us that will come in at a very, very early age. There are some of us that will wait till the middle to come in. And some of us that will wait till the end to come in. And they all need to be loved the same. They all need the same dignity, grace, acceptance, and love. Jesus is very good at giving us this example. Paul talked about it in the Philippians when he said, live a life like Christ. You know, I think about it. Christ, until he was put on that cross, invited people in to God's circle. One of the last things he did is say to a thief, you will go to paradise with me from this day on. One of the last things he did was say, forgive them, God, for they know not what they do. He showed his love to the very end. And you're called as his disciples, each and every one of you. We need to remember how important it is for us to love those folks, to treat them with dignity, respect, and understanding. God has called you to follow in Jesus' steps. Amen.
Amen.